Yo, what's happening, y'all? I apologize for starting the show just a little bit late. I was trying to make some adjustments. What'd you say, lady? Hey, actually, I need your help, please, man. The Inside Stepping group, we need to open that up. We have people who want to participate, but I'm having a problem getting this thing straightened out. So, would you please look into that? Thank you. Hey, y'all. What's up? It's your boy Brian Forbes. It's Inside Stepping. It's time, y'all. We about to have these conversations. You dig? Look, y'all. I got a real, I got a real interesting guest coming on tonight. Y'all are going to thoroughly enjoy these conversations. They are going to be good. Um, my man Reese, or should I say, unique Maurice Turner, is coming on tonight, y'all. He is finishing up his class at the moment, and when he does complete his tutelage for the evening, he will be joining us live on the show, and we will be talking about his journey in stepping as well as some of the things that he's got going on right now. Plus, we're going to be talking about his upcoming participation in WLSC, the world's largest steppers contest, and he's got an upcoming event in October called Fade to Black, y'all. So that is going to be this is going to be a very interesting interview, and I'm gonna tell y'all now, if you got any questions for that guy, you ought to think about those because he has an awful lot to offer um, in regard to his knowledge of the steppers community. I want to say right away that Inside Stepping, fortunately, will be uh, at the world's largest. We will be broadcasting live. We have some interesting things that we're going to try to implement in that process because, what we're about to do thus far has not been done at the world's largest. A lot of things, a lot of coverage has been taking place. Things have gone on over the years and that sort of stuff. But we're gonna take it to another level, and we're gonna try to make sure that we bring the all the action straight to you. So let me give you the pointers up front, and I'm gonna give these again later on in the show. But let me give you some pointers right up front for those of you who have not heard this before. When you are ready, make sure that you have either a smart television. That's my suggestion. Go get you a smart TV. uh, get you a smart television. If you don't have a smart television, go and get yourself a Fire Stick, a Roku, or an Apple TV. I ought to be making these people pay me for these advertisements. Um, and what you're going to do is go to YouTube, and if you don't have a YouTube membership already, go ahead and get yourself a YouTube membership. And once you do that, then you can turn around and first thing you're going to do is hit the subscribe button. That's the most important thing. YouTube, Inside Stepping, subscribe. That's critical. You got to do that. Then you will be able to watch as we move through the events, not only the world's largest moving forward, but also we'll be covering Texas Heat again this year, which we did last year, which was the first time we had done something like this. We will then be covering, we have two or three other events coming behind that, but those two are the most immediate. We just came back off of Crushing Cream last week, which was, by the way, an absolute blast. We had a fantastic time, and let me see. I'm working on you guys opening up the Inside Stepping page for those who want to be able to have access to what we're providing, especially on tonight's show, because Maurice has a very strong following. This guy has a very interesting history in this dance. Well, I'm trying. I don't see, y'all. This is one of them times. Huh? What? Why? I'm on here now. Okay. This guy has a very unique and interesting history um, in the steppers world in general, and we're gonna talk about some of that tonight because it's very important to let's see. It's a very important for us, especially with so many newer steppers. It's always a pleasure when I can bring somebody on that I know will be inspirational in regard to helping other people with their journey in the steppers community because so many people come into this dance and unfortunately get distracted, get disheartened, get put off by some of the things that they see, some of the behaviors that take place, um, all sorts of stuff. So what we want to do is we want to have somebody like Maurice be able to come on the show. He should be chiming in about a couple of minutes here. But it's always interesting to have somebody like him come on the show because sometimes I think a lot of people believe that, their journey, everybody's journey is their own. Every story that you hear in regard to stepping and the way people move about in the steppers world is unique. However, sometimes a lot of our journeys tend to kind of coincide. We can relate to some of the stuff that goes on because, I mean, nobody's situation is always completely different than somebody else's. A lot of people don't know that they can get the things that they're actually capable of. And so when you hear a story or stories like those of the Maurice Turner, you then start to kind of realize that a lot of things are possible. And it's possible within the realm of the way we operate just within the dance itself. And I just think it's very good and it's very important to hear these sorts of stories from a person like Maurice Turner. You got something for me? No? Okay. Uh, oh, let me see. Oh, okay. Yeah, very good. Good, great question. Okay. See, the producer lady's always on her square, and she's over here making sure that we have the good questions to ask. And I am over here attempting to open this doggone page back up. I had a last minute request to open it up, and unfortunately, yeah, yeah, they can do that. Actually, for the young lady who sent me the message asking about the page, all you have to do is just tell them to hit request, and we will process those requests immediately, and they will be allowed into the page as damn near as soon as they hit the button. So go ahead and do that, and we will make sure that everybody is able to get in and access this interview because it's important to us that that these people, that everybody gets a chance to check this out because I think it's very important. Sometimes I have a lot of very important people. Everybody who comes on my show to me is important. However, sometimes we have people that to me have a level of input that is almost amazing, astounding even. It is the sort of thing, like I was saying, that allows us to have a perspective, to bring perspective to the dance. Because, look, y'all, for me, it's amazing when I'm at an event and I have people that come to me, and y'all have heard me say this before, when people come to me and they say, I saw your show, and they explain to me what it meant and the fact that it assisted them in their dance. It made light bulbs go off. It made things click. When that happens, that's when I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And that's when it's most important to me. And that's why, Y'all keep bringing those, keep sending the requests to join, and we process those immediately. So as soon as you hit the button, we're ready for you. We just clicked in a few bunch more. Um, and so it's always important when we can all share. See, that's the thing about the coexistence of this dance, and what's so critically important about it is that we're all able to be in this dance, and we should be assisting one another. We should be helping one another. Now, if y'all, I don't know, many of you may or may not remember, some time ago, I did a show and we talked about some different things within the Steppers community. And I believe I had Casper on here that day. And shortly after that interview, matter of fact, I want to say during that interview, we actually had Maurice Turner uh, say on that show that he literally might just come out of retirement. Now, I don't remember if he said that on the show or he said that to me. I can't remember which one. But either way, he has come out. He has come out of retirement and he is ready and it's about to go down. Um, Bug Nita on my YouTube channel says, I got put off, had a teacher who made me feel a kind of way. Suggestions for Chicago South suburbs would be great. Uh, Definitely. I believe Doc is in the South suburbs, right? Oh, that's Maurice there. He's calling me on the phone. He should be calling me on the okay, we're gonna get him up here right now. Um, let's see. Yo, Doc isn't Doc's in the suburbs, isn't he? Okay, there he is. Boom. Let's get him up here. He said, "Call me, brother." Calling him right now, y'all. We're gonna get him in the game right now. Right now. I hope everything goes without we don't have any problems here, you dig? But it's very important that
Yeah,
we
I'm
have.
trying to get in on the Facebook or the
You
YouTube.
already all you gotta do, bro. You on now. All you gotta do is turn on your camera.
Okay, I know you want me to call you to this.
Nope,
Okay.
turn on your camera. There you are. Bam, look at you. Oh yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you my man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Maurice Turner, y'all. Unique Maurice, as he is referred to. What's happening, man?
Peace and
Peace and
love,
love,
man.
man.
My
My
name
name
is
is
Brian
Brian
Ford.
Ford.
Hey,
What's
man.
happening?
Man, it's great to see you, brother. It's great to see you. Look at you, man. You working that thing down, working that beard. Look at you, man.
Man, I'm
Man, I'm
trying to
trying to
catch up.
catch
You
up.
know what
You
I'm
know what I'm
saying? I
saying?
got
I
to be
gotta be
like,
like,
some of
some of
y'all
y'all
cool
cool
gents.
gents.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, hey, man, listen.
Right.
I hope you got time, bro, 'cause we got a lot to talk about.
Let's
I was
do
just
it.
sitting here. I want to start out by saying this. I was literally just sitting here having a discussion with. Okay, I'm about to correct that. Give me a second. I was just sitting here having a discussion with the viewers, and I was speaking about how we as a community have to be more cohesive. You are one of those people who is working toward bridging some of those gaps between the old and the new. Along with that, I want you to I guess kind of give people a little bit of understanding about your journey, specifically because I talk uh, to people all the time and who talk about how they may or how they wanted to get away from the dance, but something that they saw or heard from this show and other people like yourself kept them in it, and they started to realize things, and they had light bulbs and things go off, and so it kind of helped them a lot. So give people an idea of how you got started and through your journey how you were able to achieve what you did and where you are now.
Well, initially, coming into the dance, um, just as a little back history. So I've always watched my grandmother and her twin, uh, both of them whom which are passed at the moment, but I've watched them bop jitterbug uh, as I was growing up at a young age, and we're talking about like the late '70s. Uh, them dancing, and majority of my family, again, a little man on man, again, a lot of bopping. Um, that's what they did. So at the until I was grown. I just, went away from it. I saw it. They did it all the time. You know how it is. We was at the family reunion at the Dan Ryan, all your cousins, was dancing
Dan
to the
Ryan
Isley
Wood.
Brothers. Man, the Dan Ryan Woods. Come on, man. People in Chicago know where we at, you know? So that's how that was. But initially, I went with one of my cousins to the Rose on a Thursday night on Madison, right?
West Side.
Mind you, that's right. Mind you, the party was 30 and over, and of course I wasn't 30. But I was dressed appropriately and I was with the right people. So I got in. And this is how it was, bro. I had already seen what that stepping bopping type was, but it didn't really hit me, right? I walked into everybody dressed all up on a Thursday night, right? And and I'm the backstory is that I thought my cousin was cold with it, right? But he actually wasn't. But at the time, when you know,
You breaking up a little bit there, Reese. You got a bad location. Uh-oh. Hope we don't lose them, y'all. Hope we don't lose them. You still there?
I'm big, yeah, I'm still here, yeah. So I'm gonna bring that forward a little bit, right? Because I thought my cousin was cold with it, right? But he weren't. He wasn't, right? So I'm there and I'm watching, and this is what the scenario is. This is what caught my eye. I'm standing there with him. There's not a lot of men in the building, right? The women are coming asking the guys, come on, let's dance. Ain't no, and I ain't even gonna say ask, they just telling you, come on, let's dance. So I'm standing there, of course, they don't know me. So they're coming to get him and dance. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I said, this is how it go? Like, you just come into the party and the women just come and get you and you on the floor. I'm gonna have to do a Reggie Miles. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I want the whole little something too. So that's what initially interested me in the dance. That's when I got like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to do this. From that day, you can multiply that by 2.5 years. Every since that day, the next 2 years, I was out 6, sometimes 7 nights a week. Now, mind you, I didn't know what the stepper sets were, so I was at all the hole in the walls, the timeout, reds,
Man, I forgot about the
sand,
timeout. I remember that.
sandpipers. You see what I'm saying? Like I was at all the little hole in the walls because that's where my cousin went. He didn't go to none of the sets because he ain't know nothing about that. That's where we was going. Now, that night when we left the Rose, he said, hey, look, I was begging him, man, teach me how to step because I'm thinking he cold, right? Teach me. I ain't gonna teach you. I begged him all the way home. So he said, finally, man, I'm gonna show you the 6-step, right? So I'm like, okay. So it was a kick, kick, cross, cross. And it was wrong, but he showed me what he knew. And he said, this is all I'm gonna show you. I said, I don't get no turns, no nothing. He's like, nah, do this. So I said, okay. So I did that. He was like, go home and practice. Get you a tie, put it on the doorknob, and I want you to swing it like this. Get your broom in the kitchen. I want you to do it like this. That was my introduction to what so-called learning how to step was. It was all wrong, but I was determined because now we're going out every night. So I'm trying these things that he's showing me and like, nah, this ain't working. The women are like, your cousin can't dance. Nah, you can't dance. Come back next week or come back another time when you know how to do this. That's how the women work. So of course that ain't doing nothing but motivate. So through the course of that time, you fast forward me trying to teach myself how to come up with these steps to translate into I can dance with you, I can dance with you, I can dance with you. Literally, Brian, that's 2 years plus of 6 to 7 nights a week. And I'm an avid skater, right? So I had pretty much kind of left skating to the side to a certain degree and was just focused on stepping. So mind you, my introduction was 95, 90, yeah, right at the beginning of 95. 96 was my first competition. So
Jump right in,
between
didn't you?
between that time, that's how much I was dancing to get to the next year of 96 and competing, right? And it just escalated the more and more after that. So a lot of the skate crowd is steppers crowd in Chicago. You get a lot of crossover. So I already
Absolutely.
had
That's
knew
what
a
we
lot
did.
of people from skating. I just hadn't translated that into the actual stepper sets. You see what I mean? Sam Chapman, Rose Wellington, Deja Vu Larry, the Rat Pack on Wednesday nights, on 22nd, all those little, different sets that were going on
I
back in
used
the
to
day,
be at them
Daytime
Rat Pack sets.
Production.
Yep.
Right. So once I started going to the sets, that changed the game because now I started really seeing like the hole in the wall dancers and the actual dancers at a set was different, for the most part. Then I got exposed to the 50, then Sarah J's, East of the Rhine, so those things made a big difference in me encompassing the dance and translating that into my style, I guess you could say at this particular point. So that's how I got in the game of stepping.
Well, that's all right, man. Now I gotta. So I was gonna ask you. One of the questions that I had was gonna be who taught you, but you just kind of made that clear. Now you and I had a conversation, and you were telling me kind of about how you had to develop yourself in the dance, mainly because, and this is one of the things, and this is where I want to bring up your organization, man, WSI World Steppers Inc. And I want to talk about that because we all know, everybody across the stepping universe knows that one thing that we have a huge shortage of, and that's men in this dance.
Yes.
And how important it is for people like yourself to kind of reach out and help to bridge these gaps and bring more young blood into the game, but do it. And see, this is where the uniqueness of what you do is separated from a lot of these other so-called instructors because you understand the culture, you understand where we came from, you understand the history, and within the confines of those, you also are able to let the new people in the new school sort of do their thing, but at the same time respect what was. So, man, explain, give us some insight on that.
So we have to understand that at some particular point in time, there has to be a transition from old to this current generation, right? We all know, like during this pandemic, we had a lot of our loved ones and a lot of our steppers of old pass away. And I'm gonna pay homage to the individuals because we talked about this, like Daryl and Margette, because they were trying to bridge the gap between the older steppers and then some of the younger generations, such as myself, coming in. Right, I came in along with Tick Man was a tad bit before me, and Dre was a little bit, during that time, right after me or what have you. We were kind of like some little young guys that were coming in, but we were embraced with the older generation. For me, I'm gonna speak for myself. Again, me understanding that there was a lot of crossover between steppers and skaters, I had already knew some of them, and I already had a respect for them, as my elders, and just as people who had, some knowledge. So fast forwarding to now, we have to have the ability to say, hey, look, young folks, let me get you in here, show you what this is, but also let me show you what the culture is. And right now there's a pushback from that because there are a lot of older people who don't want to be involved with the younger generation where they are doing a thousand turns or whatever, or the music is more current R&B, rap, new school type music, and not a lot of classics, R&B, old school, walking music per se, right? But we have to understand, if we want to pass this on, we cannot say we do not want to be bothered with the young folks, because sooner or later we all gonna move on over to the other side. So I look at it like this, right? If if you have a child and you want to pass on your name, right? You have to give them that. And you also have to accept the fact that they are going to be different. But you can't just say, "Well, I ain't gonna worry about it. Either you get it or you don't," and and then expect for there to be some type of lineage to continue on in your name. That's not how that's going to happen. So we also have to understand too that each generation is not going to like something that the previous generation has done. They're going to try to either streamline it, or you're going to have those who are trying to backdoor it or cut it down so that they can kind of take out the hard work. We all know that that happens, right? But what we can do is say, hey, let's embrace these young folks, because we have to realize these young folks, they have the energy and they have the drive. They
That's a
just don't
fact.
have the wherewithal, and they just don't get the encouragement from where they need it from to push on through these points when they're discouraged and when they don't know no better. But if you come in the door with an attitude, you're not going to break the barrier to get them in the door. So they need to get in the door first. Then you teach them some back history as to how, hey, look, get in the door first. Let me entice you with, okay, I know you don't really like walking right now because it's slow music for you. You don't like it. It ain't. But how about this? We got some young folks in the community, some Dre's, some Ticks, some Drews, some Shine Valentines, right? Let's get you in the door with, like, this is what, part of what stepping is. It's just a little more eccentric, right? So let's get you in the door with that. Now, hey, this is what and how we got here from back in the day, dancing man on man. Back in the day, jitterbugging. Back in the day, bopping. Right? Then once they are connected to the dance, now they're gonna want to learn everything about it, because now they're trying to be the best at it. And then they start to understand that in order to be the best at it, you need a lot of tools in your bag. You need a lot of stepping underneath your wings and a lot of variations to be the best. Because now, if you plan on competing, or if you just plan on being one of the better dancers, you need to realize that you need to be able to walk. You need to be able to step. Sometimes you might need to bop if you want to dance with an older person. You know what I'm saying? You might need to slow bop if you want to dance with an older person. You need a lot of this in you so you can understand that this culture runs more than just 5, 6 turns every 2, 3 seconds.
Man,
You know what I mean?
preach.
You need to understand that, right? And
Let me
and
what right
that's
quick.
where you got to get them in the door. But we got to have some togetherness about that, right? We
Right
can't we
quick
can't
though.
we can't keep being separated, and then we want to draw new people to it, right? Everybody know, and this is something that we all know in Chicago. A lot of the new people don't understand this until they get in the game. It's drama. There's a lot of drama on the scene, right? It don't have to be that way,
Lots of
but
drama.
that's just the way it is, right? So if you come in the door, and let's just think about this as young folks, right? They have a lot of energy. Why bring them in the door with negative energy? You know what I'm saying? What they need to see is, hey, we all are together, the old folks and the young folks, right? I can listen to some old music sometimes, or I can listen to some new music, but now I can do it all. So we can't be one-sided on this, and we have to understand that we got to do this together in order, if we want to push this on. One thing that I do not like is when they say, well, the only way you're gonna learn is if you learn from a Chicago person. No, change that to, you might learn a little bit more of the history if you learn from a Chicago person. And at some particular point in time, you might need to put your hands on some Chicago people to get that Chicago culture feel. But don't just shut them down. Don't do that.
Let me ask you right quick. And I'm glad you brought that up because my very next question to you is this. And I agree with everything you've said thus far. But here's where the rub comes in. And like you said, there's always drama, there's always chaos, some kind of way. We have a lot of self proclaimed instructors who oftentimes, even in giving these people part of the dance, are not capable of giving them that back end that you were speaking of in terms of, culture and history. And I think that a lot gets lost in that process because of the fact that a lot of people don't understand that some of those conversations will increase their dance exponentially if they just listen without even moving their feet. They don't understand sometimes. And when you have people who don't know these things and who reject the culture and the history, they tend to they diminish these people's dances and they don't realize it at the time. And they can't teach what they don't know. So it
Correct.
goes without saying that there's a loss and oftentimes a disconnect. And this is where we get a lot of this division. And what are your thoughts about that?
So there's two things I want to say about that. The first thing is we know that there's not a well, there is quote unquote now, but initially we know there's not per se like, hey, this is one way that we're teaching across the board, right? So that being said, we know that there are going to be individuals as they learn certain things that feel as though, hey, I've been doing this long enough that I can say that I'm able to do it, right? But again, you can only teach what you know, right? A lot of times, and I'll just use this as an example, you know, a lot of people that, you know, I've watched over the years, they never learned with account or numbers. They learned on watch me do this, and now you do it, right? And that's
And
how
that's
they
how
were
they were
taught,
taught, legacy
right?
steppers.
Yes,
Yes,
that's how
that's
they were taught. But in this day and time, not everybody's going to pick up that like immediately, right? But just common sense, we know ain't common sense. So everybody's not just going to pick that up. And then
and
you have to
everybody learns
understand.
differently. Everybody
Yeah,
doesn't learn the same.
exactly. So here's where I break it down like this, and I've said this in my details, right? You have instructors, you have teachers, you have professors, right? So in an instructing level, you are just instructing or showing somebody exactly what you have learned. And that's pretty much all you can give them outside of a little bit more of insight because you have done it. Just maybe give them a little bit more perspective, but mainly it's just what you have been shown. So you give that back, right? So then you have a teacher. So I'm gonna rate this like let's just say we have a high school teacher.
Now let's keep it
Yeah, yeah.
100. There's a difference between people saying they showing somebody what they know and people who actually claim to be instructors.
Exactly. So that's again, I'm gonna lump them into this. I'm gonna lump them into the same perspective, and I'm tell you why when I get to this last example. So the teachers are somebody who say, okay, hey, I've learned from a few people. I've learned a few different things. I've experienced a few different things. I can give you a little bit more than one or two perspectives on, hey, how this should go. I'm I'm pretty qualified. I've got some years under my belt, and I can do this, right? But now we go to what is needed in this dance. You have a professor, right? Let's just say we relate that to the next level of teaching in our normal school history as like a college professor, okay, or a grad school professor, right? What now the difference between them is that person can now break it down in multiple ways, multiple perceptions of learning, multiple ways of teaching. Okay, so that might be a person that learns from sight. That might be a person that learns from paper. That might be a person that learns from uh, verbal communication, right? But this professor, I don't care how you want to position it or proposition it, they can break it down for you in multiple ways so that your way of learning can be interpreted and they can get that message across to you and show you what needs to be done. In this dance, that's what's needed, right? But I'm okay with the instructors and teachers because sometimes you just need people again to get them to the water. And as long as you are truthful in that and say, hey,
That's my philosophy. Just get them to
I,
the
I
just
can
get them to the
I
get
can
them
get
to the
you
river.
there, but you might need to go see Claudel so you can get your timing together, right? You see what I'm saying? You might need to go see Daryl Davis so you can get your footwork together. But I can just tell you what I have, right? See, because now you're being truthful with them, and now they feel like, okay, hey, man, coming in the door, there's nobody else in my city. He or she can show me this, but they already told me, man, the other person I need to go to might be in Chicago. I need to go there because I need that extra to get me over this point, right? Because when you tell them like that, now they already have an understanding that I'm only gonna go so far. I can only go to the 8th grade here, but at least I can get somewhere and I can get something from this because I like what I see. I know I need some time to get there, and then they can move on. But if you come in the door telling them, yeah, I'm the end all, the be all, and then guess what? Sooner or later they're going to get exposed to somebody at some point in time or another, via video nowadays, YouTube, Facebook, whatever. Then they're gonna look at you and say, why didn't you tell me? Or whatever questions they have that puts them in a bad disposition now. Now, that's the first part of being tainted to what Chicago style stepping is. That's not what the culture is about. And we shouldn't be about self in this, right? We are
Man,
already
preach.
losing enough people. You see what I'm saying? Like we need some youth. We need some people out here. Because if we outside of Chicago, anywhere else you go, you notice the ratio is 10-1 on men.
All day.
So and now when you look at Chicago, hey, let's just be honest, like the ratio of men has decreased too. You know,
That and again, that's one of the things. That's a very frequent conversation between Josiah Burt and I, because his main focus and goal is always about bringing more men into the dance. But see, we're uniquely different in that our egos keep us from doing a lot of what we should or could be doing in this dance. A lot of men already have a hard time taking uh, information sometimes or lessons from other men, which
right.
one of the things that I preach on this show all the time is about men finding mentors. I am fortunate that everything that I do uh, creatively and within this dance, there is someone or some group of people that I'm able to turn to, that I'm humble enough to respect when they bring me, along, and they say to me, they talk to me about the things that I need to improve upon, or some areas where I might be able to. And everybody know, and most people who know me know I'm a pretty straightforward guy, and I have you know, I come off sometimes a little harsh, but I shut my mouth when I know that somebody in front of me knows more. More men need to be uh, have that
Humble.
sort of mindset in order to learn and to grow within this dance in particular. I was fortunate enough to have, and I just give you an example. I'm on my DJ journey. I learned to start DJing out of necessity, because we didn't have any here. And within that journey, I've had a lot of really cold DJs put their hands on me, and even Myron the R, you know, the other day, last week, told me a couple of things, that benefited me. What I look like saying to Myron, anything, bro, I'm all ears. My lips are sealed. I ain't got nothing to say. Tell me whatever it is, whatever you trying to lay on me, I'm listening. More of the men that come into this dance need to be that way. I watch a lot of guys, and it's almost a shame. And when I watch them, some of the ones that have stuck to the dance, their confidence level is way exceeding their skill level, and you can't tell them nothing. So you got that group too. So but like you said, we get them to the river.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. So whether whether we want to take this in or not as men, right? And I'm gonna speak to all the men that's on this show, right? I have 25 plus years realistically now in teaching, right? In this particular stepping. world, right? And when I first was teaching and going out and dancing, I got so much better faster by dancing along with my brothers instead of sitting back being envious. So, and I'm gonna change the word from humble. Let's be meek about this, right? Because if we understand that we can do so much more together, and I keep saying that because and I know, Brian, in this world, like these steppers in this world and these men, like, man, y'all need to get up off of this, you know, this idea that you always got to be the face of everything and you always got to be the one that's shining, right? Somebody need to come from you need to be like, man, like I'm gonna tell you like it is. On the skates, people know me. I'm an avid skater, right? I've been skating since I was 1 year old, right? My son is colder than me, right? And you know why? Because I brought him up and he watched and his mom skate and I skate. But guess what? I told my son, hey, I'm proud of you. You colder than me now. You understand what I'm saying? Like, what is the point if you don't want nobody to be better than you? You just want to always be the man, and you don't want nobody underneath you to be better than you. What is the point in that?
Man, to me, that's the beauty in it, man. When you know that your legacy lives on because of the work that you put in, like, man, that for me, that's way bigger than me showing out or me doing anything. I got an interesting text yesterday from a gentleman. He said he didn't want to make these words public, so I'm not going to mention his name, but I'm going to give you an overview. And he told me, he said, "Man, I love what you're doing with your media." He's like, "I can see 20 years from now, you being the pioneer for the level of media that we're moving into." And here's the thing: there are others around the media game in stepping that and any of them will tell you, I whatever you need. What can I tell you? What can I help you with? And I've been willing to do that because I'd rather see everybody shine and us be able to put together a quality product for the people than, I mean, I'm cool with what I do, but, I mean, overall, I'm trying to help improve the community. I'm trying to help improve what we do and make this thing better across the board. So to me, like you just said, when your own, I had a conversation with my daughter not too long ago. I'm fortunate enough to be able to say that all my children are successful. And one day, and I'm gonna tell you this funny, it's a funny little story. My daughter and I, she took me out to dinner when I came home to Chicago. Now she lives in the heart of downtown, like literally Michigan Avenue, Wacker Drive. You feel me? And
Right.
she took me to dinner, and I started laughing. And I told her, I said, I want you to understand something about where you are right now. This girl ain't even hit 30 yet. I said, where we're standing right now, this is where me and a bunch of my homies back in the day used to come down to and just hang out because we wanted to know what it was like to live like this. We just wanted to be down here because this is
Right.
where the money at, you know. And I pointed out, you remember Bennigan's when he used to be
Yeah.
right there
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Michigan?
Yeah.
That's her neighborhood, dog. You feel me?
Okay.
So it's like that's her
Right.
neighborhood, like.
Right.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, and I told her, man, it almost made me shed a tear because I'm like, girl, do you understand? I need you to understand where you at. For me,
We we,
I
we
don't
can
even
only
need to
party
be there,
down there.
man. You know what I'm saying? That's all. You know what I mean? And so for me, it was like to know that my legacy is growing that way. Man, I'm cool with that. I might have missed it, but hey, she got it. I'm good. So anything that come behind me, and if I was able to assist or give, provide the assist, if I was able to help be the one that provided that nugget of information, that bit of knowledge to anybody in this stepping game, there have been plenty of people who've told me they've been happy with the things that we've said on this show. I've had a couple since we've been on today. Say this. The bottom line is we are able to help move the future. And that's what I care about. You know.
Right. And that's what it should be about. And that's why, as you were talking about my organization, so, you know, World Steppers Inc. I started that back in 2007 with one of my close friends. And when I moved back to Chicago, um, we kept it going, but there was only so much that he could do by himself, me flying in and out. So we kind of separated from it and let it go for a while. Now that I'm back here, I started it over again, but even more so focused on a, a, a an environment that was more inviting, right? So we don't just step like that's, of course, that's what we love to do. It's part of our life, but it's not our life. It's not our entire life, right?
That's right. That's right.
So we do other things. We go to the park and have outings and picnics and things like that. We go other places and do other things, but that draws other people. So when they see what we're doing, they want, hey, what is that, right? And then we share, hey, we ain't just got a party. It's a party over here. We going to Chicago next week for the world's largest. I just had this conversation with like 5 women earlier today. Hey, what is that? Okay, this
Okay,
is
this
what
is
we're
what we're
doing,
doing,
and we
and
we
glad
go
you brought that
all
up.
over.
That's where we going.
Yeah, we going to Chicago next. We be at Texas Heat. I'm like, I know it's new, but I give you all the information. If you want to ride, you can ride.
Man,
But
Texas Heat is
sometimes it
smoked,
feel a
Jack.
little intimidating.
Texas Heat was off the chain, man. I ain't look. That was his first year last year. Nike, man, he literally knocked it out of the park, bro. You that event right there, it ain't no joke. It ain't nothing to play with. I promise you.
Yeah,
We had
I'm
a
coming this year.
fantastic time, man. We had, oh my God, we had so much fun, man. Um, right quick, I want to put this out there. I'm glad that our audience numbers have risen because now this is what I want to talk about now. You, sir, going into the world's largest steppers competition. I don't even know how many times you've been in it, but you are an 8-time winner of the world's largest competition. Am I correct?
That's
That's
correct.
correct.
Do you realize that there are so many people who are so new into this dance that they had no idea? In fact, I had somebody ask me earlier, who is Maurice Turner? I don't even know who that is.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I
Eight
Yeah, I
get
get
that.
time
that.
world's largest winner and the youngest to ever win the Masters. Right? Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Drew
Correct?
Drew
Drew
brought
brought
that
that
to
to
my
my
attention. I
attention. I
didn't
didn't
know
know
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 He
You were the
Yeah,
youngest
yeah,
to ever
but
win the Masters in the world's largest competition. Bruh, you got stripes, man. You understand? And I'm bringing that up because I want people to truly understand the depth of your range and where you are in the game and how you can contribute. And it's funny, I was just talking before you came on. I talked about how you and I had a conversation where you said, I think I might come out of retirement just for this year and see what's happening. And here you are. And here you are jumping back in the game, man. That's
Man,
impressive, bro. That's impressive.
well,
well,
let me
let me
say
say
this,
this.
right? So, and when I initially said that on my YouTube, I was like, it just was a thought in my mind, and I was just saying it so that people could kind of put in their psyche, like, hey, you know, it kind of goes back to our full conversation we're having now. Like, hey, we need to see something different to a certain degree, right? We need to see some people that kind of, has the full meaning of what we're trying to represent in our culture, right? And I'm not saying that the people that have been in it during the time that I have not don't have that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying oftentimes it's kind of like how I feel about Claudel and Ice Ray, right? Like, when they not around, you kind of miss that, right? And then you realize when they come back, like, man, I remember when we used to do this, or I remember when we was doing that. It just brings something to you, right? It just makes you feel a certain type of way. So one of the reasons I wanted to do that, I was like, well, I'm not gonna get into the stepping part of it, because I want other people to get in it and the newer people to kind of feel like, hey, they can get in it and have a chance without all of us being in there at the same time, because then people feel a little intimidated sometimes, right? So I'm like, well, I'll do walking because, I've done a few other walkers, won a few other walkers, but I'm like, I'll do walking because this is something that again, a lot of us have had conversation about me, you, Reggie Miles, those people. I'm like, let me do walking because let me just bring some, even though I'm not that youthful, let me just bring some youthful presence to that, right? And showcase that, man, we can have walking and younger folks still want to do that as well. They just need to know how to really, you know, bring that into their dance to add some flavor and some feel and some depth to their dancing, right? So that's why I wanted to do it. The other reason I wanted to do it is because, and I'm just gonna do this just a my partner is cold with it, bro, and she never gets any recognition for her dance.
A lot of women
And
don't, and I think that's kind of tragic because these guys, we always
yeah,
yelling out men's names, but we never talk about who they danced with.
always, what I'm saying? Like the Danielle Mowers, of course, like Charnice and all them, like we were all together, but nowadays, you hear a few young women names, but they don't, it's always about the man, and I get it, because we're the leaders in the dance. I get it. But we got some women out here, man, that need some uplifting. You know what I'm saying? That's the
And
reason why
and
I
they
put
cold.
Sherry Gordon and Taylor Raymond for part of my instructors, because we need to uplift these women. These women have a lot to offer. Like, uplift these women and and showcase them sometimes. You see what I'm saying? It's not always, well,
Absolutely.
it's just the men dancing. No, you need the contest is the women are dancing too. You just don't hear it enough. So that was another reason. Shanique Johnson, the woman, hey, she can dance, bro, and she
Reese,
needed to have that out there.
right quick, I have a question. First, let me say Reggie Miles said Raymond Smith and Claudel Jackson are two of the best to ever do it.
Man,
Um,
Reggie, hey, you know how I feel about them too.
this young lady, my Katrina Klink Scales, now over there in Chicago, she wants to know what advice do you all have for a person past the beginner stage, but still need a lot more intermediate experience? Sometimes in class, you end up being the woman that beginner or other guys practice on. Shit, that's a
So,
good start right there.
it's a good question. It's a good question. I'm gonna give you a very good answer, because we fall short in this and everything we do most of the time, because we take it for granted, right? So when you going to buy your house or your vehicle, and you're gonna spend that money, you go do all the research. You ask all the people you want to ask, so that you go and try to make the best possible decision and buying decision on that. But you just spent $7,000 on classes in the last 2, 3 years, and you don't want to ask. I'm not saying you don't,
Yeah,
and
keep
I'm
going.
just
No,
being
you you
general.
being general, and you're right. Keep
Right,
going.
right. You don't want to take that time out to say, hey, I need to reassess myself, and I need to be accountable for myself also, right? I can't keep allowing there just to be, well, I'm not learning because my instructor don't can't take me to the next. No, sometimes you just got to step out a little bit, and sometimes you need to, again, self-assess and say, hey, have I really worked on my fundamentals enough, so that when I go to these workshops, I'm not in there looking for, or practicing on my left and right turns. I'm in there trying to depict these little fine things and these nuggets that we get, that most of them overlook. I'm not trying to overlook that. I'm coming out there to, I need to get this specific. So when I go to these workshops, I'm going for something specific that I've researched. Hey, I like the way Charnice has gracefulness and style. So when I go to her workshop, I'm not concerned about the left and right turn or this. I want to go and find out why she moved the way she moved. You see what I'm saying? When I go to Donnie Davis class, and he has all these people in here, right? I'm gonna seek out the person that I want to get something from, and not just bounce all around because somebody told me go over here and do this, right?
I love Donnie Davis class. Smiling happily, you said 7,000 in stepping classes with an expletive. Smiling happily, let me tell you something. Laugh, smiley, and be happy. But let me tell you, I know people who have spent thousands of dollars and still struggle sometimes in this dance. In fact, I did a show with a young lady earlier this year where we talked about her expenditures in not only learning the dance but in participating in the dance and the extremes that she went through to be a part of this community. We make jokes, but real talk, this happens. It is a thing. Maurice, right quick, man, I want you to first, ladies and gentlemen, let me also say, see, y'all don't even understand the accolades this brother deserves. This is also the same gentleman who, during the Black and Bling weekends in the last couple of years, has provided transportation to and from the event to the hotel. Uh, Plug your service, sir, while we here. Let everybody know that he let these promoters know if they need they need services, they can get to you. You right here in the community with us.
Oh yeah, definitely. So my company, and to be quite honest, you can see I'm in one of my vehicles right now. So we got TVs, we got sound systems, we got lights on the floor, we got coolers. You know, and this is my little baby sprinter, right? So we, I do the company is XL Transportation, the letter X, the letter L Transportation. The XLExperience.com is the website. I provide high-end transportation. My vehicles are Mercedes Sprinters, right? I also do airport transportation in Chicago and Atlanta. When we're talking about like Black and Bling, that's a specific guideline of transportation that I do. I'm going to be doing um, Keep It Simple coming up at the
Right,
week
the week
after the
after the
World's
World
Largest
Largest.
in Alabama. Um, and I provide transportation, of course, for my own. Anytime I'm going to any of these events, some of my students are riding with me in XL Transportation.
Man, y'all be
Um,
rolling deep, Jack. It be a whole clique in them
oh
vans.
yeah, we ride, we pull up 10, 11 deep in the sprinters and 30 at the events. I did Miami um last minute, with the okay of Pete for some assistance, because here we go again where there was assistance that was needed, and hey, my brother needed some help. I'm on it. I'm
I'm
there.
there.
I'm
Yeah,
on
handle
it.
that.
Right?
Right,
Because we
because
got
we
to
got to.
support one another.
Now, I have another question, which I think is actually a very important question that I'd like for you to answer from your perspective as an instructor. And when you do this, I also want you to plug your own instruction for those who need to get their tail to Atlanta and see you. But she wanted to know: is there a difference in classes versus workshops? This is a very critical question because there are a lot of people who do not know, and I'd like for you to expound on that.
Okay, so let me. So in a class structure, right? You have to understand that most of the time in a class structure, you have an amount of repetition that should happen, right? So if you're taking classes from a group or an individual, they're going to be a level of repetition. So let's just say you there once a week or twice a week, however that may be. So you're going to learn your foundation there. You're going to get more practice there, and you're going to get your level of understanding. That's what you should get: your rhythm, your timing, your level of understanding, your background. You should get your etiquette. That should all come from your main class structure, right? Once you get to a certain point, then when you talk about workshops, workshops are for specific things that you want to learn in the dance, which leads me back to the point that we just made. That's why you do your research and find out what what is it that you need to work on, and what is it that you would like to pull into your dance. And then you find the best person for what you see that you want to do. And maybe that your class instructor has said, hey, this is a good idea based off of how you've been learning. This is who I want, and this is where I need to get it from. You go to a workshop for that. Okay. Too oftentimes we have these workshops, and I have said on many of occasions, I'll come in and do a workshop for specific things and separate it for specific people. because in these workshops, you cannot have, for the majority of the time, unless you're doing all beginners workshop, you cannot have multi levels of people in this same workshop. It's a recipe for failure. There are too many. You literally will almost need to have assistants for every two people in order to make that work. That does not make any sense. You do a workshop and you stipulate it for something that's either you want to bring or for something that's geared towards whatever that organization is have in mind. Then the workshops are now specific. They're catered to certain people and what they're trying to accomplish. And people who come say, hey, this is something that I wanted to obtain. Let me go and get this knowledge. That's the workshop environment comparison to a class repetitive environment. Because these workshops, you only gonna learn so much in this hour and two. So it needs to be specific. Instead of you coming out of there 2 hours worth of an hour and a half worth of nonsense based off of what you know and you can't interpret, comparison to the 30 minutes of something where somebody actually has something that you could grasp or something that you actually say, oh shoot, that's really what I wanted to learn when I got here.
There you go. Now, another question just came up from Regina Freeman. She says, should someone go to a workshop if they don't have their basics? I can answer that one. No, unequivocally.
Not unless the workshop is a basic workshop.
And there you
You
have
know
it.
what I'm saying? Because there's only so much that they can give you in a short period of time, and your retention has to be very high at that because there's going to be more than just you. And if they don't have enough assistance, again, that further separates you from how much that you can take in at one time. Retain, go home, try to remember, and do it all over again.
You know, I have a theory, Reese.
Uh-huh.
The more I look at workshops versus classes, and I look at the pattern of all the things that have gone on across the country, I think back over periods of time and I realize that the workshop idea has become a part of it's become ingrained in the culture, and it now is used so loosely that I think a lot has been lost in the necessity, not only the necessity for it but the effectiveness of it. And I think that lends toward what you just said, because more people need to, first of all, have a competent instructor to give them the basic before because you got people, oh, I'm gonna bring this person down. I'm gonna pay to have them come in and do this workshop. But the question becomes, is that community actually ready? Is that group actually ready for these workshops when there are losses in other places,
Right.
misplaced
And
basics and things like.
yeah, and remember we had that conversation, Brian, about a month and a half ago, and I said coming down to do a workshop, that there has to be some structure, right? So that workshop needs to be a workshop that you're doing either every other week, twice a month, but in between that, what they gonna do then? So how is that going to happen? It's hard enough nowadays to come to a class every week and turn around, come back the next week, and you hoping you can move to something else in the class without them going back over the same thing, right? So that dynamic, is very scarce. And we got to remember, like nowadays, the workshops and the classes have been monetized.
Then you got people who don't even practice what they done paid for when they get home.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, and again, so, like for me here, I'm teaching on 3 classes on Tuesdays and typically 3 classes on Saturdays, right?
You're a busy fellow.
And I'm trying to limit that down some too, to be truthful, because I got brought back into this, but I enjoy doing it. I love to. I mean, I love to give what I have to people, and it's fun. You know, it, everybody that's here with me know it ain't got nothing to do with the money. I don't make any money.
It's like you just
Literally,
said.
I don't make any money for
You
this.
you just got through saying a lot of this stuff is monetized. Now you got the monetization, and then you got the people who got that love. Now, rarely do the two meet because you either love it and you have to charge people for little something for it, or you more interested in the money. And usually the ones that are more interested in the money just don't go that far. And that's just been my experience and what I've seen.
Yeah, I agree. The classes that I have here on Tuesdays and Saturdays I'm at a black-owned studio. You know what I'm saying? The studio is SDP Dance Studio here in Smyrna. You can go on to worldsteppersinc.com. Anytime you down here, you can hit me up. I'll do privates to kind of help people, but I ask a lot of questions if you come to me on privates because you got to know what you're coming for. I need to know, some history in that. And first thing I'm gonna ask you is what do you want to obtain? What is your end goal? Is this just fun? You trying to compete? Where you want to go? Because anybody and everybody that know me, yeah, you gonna get quite a bit when you come to me, and you gonna understand a lot more when you leave.
And
I'm not
there's the
that that
difference.
not that I'm gonna tell you what you want to hear so you can go on to the next person. That's not who I am.
And there's the difference between a real instructor who loves this dance and culture and a grifter. Before we go, I'd be remiss if I did not provide you, sir, with the opportunity for us to discuss Fade to Black.
Yes, sir.
Man
Fade to
Alive.
black, baby.
October 20th through 23rd. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Right.
Fade to black extravaganza. So let me just give you a brief little rundown, right? So Thursday night, come on in, check in the hotel if you're coming in early on Thursday night. We're gonna head on over to Ellery's for the night party, kick it over at Ellery's, which is basically like the 50-yard line of Atlanta,
Man,
right?
I ain't been in Ellery since I left Atlanta, man, back in 2011. I can't wait to
Man,
get
look,
back there,
Shane,
man. I
Shane
miss.
and his father still over there doing his
Are
thing,
they?
right?
Man, look, I missed that joint with the pink walls. Yes, sir.
Man, look, so we're gonna be over there. That's Thursday night. If you're coming in early, come on, kick it, hang out with us. Check in at the hotel. Um, and then come on over to Ellery's. Now, Friday, Friday gonna be about you getting your little groove on, getting your little rest on for the weekend. If you come in early on Friday, check in. We'll be at the hospitality suite playing some music, kicking back, so you can register, get your band, whatever you need on Friday. Friday night is the fedora and fatigue party. So you're gonna rock your sexy fedoras, some camouflage / fatigue pants. Ladies, put on your heels, rock it out. We want it sexy and sweet, right? That's Friday night. I got some special stuff going on. Um, we're gonna have DJ Vale, DJ Cross on the ones and twos.
That's a nice lineup.
Coming in on Friday. Oh, the DJ lineup off the chain, bro. Saturday, wake up Saturday morning, all who are in support of breast cancer awareness and those who are in support of the fight against domestic violence. We're doing a 5K run and walk Saturday morning from the hotel around Atlantic Station. Um, so you can check all that out on the website. That's early Saturday morning for those who are like myself, like to get up, work out, um, get our bodies and our minds right first thing in the morning. We're going to do that Saturday during the early morning / afternoon. We're going to the workshop.
Wait. Hold on one second. Hey, Valerie Holloway. Valerie. Look, that's my girl. Look, she gonna say that's where I met you, Brian, at Ellery's.
At Ellery's,
Yeah,
right.
man, Val.
Hey, Val.
Yeah, I met. We would her. Long story. I still got the pictures from that, Val. I'm just gonna tell you now. Okay, go ahead. So we on Saturday.
Right. Saturday. So Saturday we got the workshop. Taylor and Sherry Gordon are gonna go first. Me and Drew are gonna add support to them, and then follow up two great black women with two great black men. Me and Drew are gonna do the next set of workshops immediately following after their workshops. Okay. Now, surprise, surprise. DJ Trey Nicole is gonna do the Fade to Classics R&B old school classic set at the day party in one ballroom directly following the workshops. That's gonna be 2 to 5. And simultaneously, we're gonna have Carla's silent party, headphones doing a mixture and 3 separate DJs. So we got DJ King Ambition, uh, Lindy Holmes, and then a surprise DJ. Right?
right?
Oh,
All
Lindy,
All
I didn't know
uh,
Lindy DJ. That's what's up. Okay.
man,
man,
look here. We rocking it out. And the venue is sexy. When I tell you. It's
Reese,
sexy.
right quick. Not to, I might be
Go
cutting
ahead.
you off a few times. We keep getting questions. Somebody wants to know: are the workshops included in the price?
No,
No,
workshops not
workshops not
included in the
included in the
price of
price
the event. So the workshops are separate. You can go on there, $25 for the workshops. You can go on to the World Steppers Inc., click on the Fade to Black flyer. It'll take you to all of the pricing and events and scheduling for the Fade to Black. So the workshops are not included. Okay. I'll tell you what's included in 1 second with the price of the entire weekend. Right. So moving to right back to the Saturday, that's the Saturday afternoon, the day parties wrapped up with the silent party. That's over at 5, right? All the parties are over at 5. Go back to your room, get you some dinner, chill, relax. We're going to, now mind you, the Friday night party is at the 12. The Saturday workshops and day parties are exactly about 60 feet across the street at the Embassy Suites, right? Come back to Saturday night. We are going to, this is the first time that I have said this on the live. We are going to the University Center Park Club at Turner Field baseball field. We gonna tear up, my brother, overlooking the baseball field. We gonna be dancing, overlooking Turner Field baseball field, bro.
I think that's a first, sir. That's real fly.
Man, look here. And we got multiple rooms. I ain't gonna give you nothing else, right? But that's gonna be Saturday night, and Saturday night is the sneaker ball. So
Oh,
we
sneaker
rocking
ball.
Jordan,
Okay, that's what's up.
we rocking Louboutins, we rocking. I told Tick, I said, bro, you know they're gonna be trying to find out what shoes you coming in with at the party. It's formal wear, so we dressing up. Wear your balls, your gowns, your suits, tuxedos. We dressing up, but we rocking some cold sneakers
I'm
coming
gonna
in
have to
the
go get me a
building.
fresh pair of Chucks.
Hey, stop taking my idea, man. You playing too much, Brian. You playing too much. Stop. Nope. So that's Saturday night. So again, Saturday night, the main event is a sneaker ball. First time steppers sneaker ball. Okay, we're gonna do a king and queen for the sneaker ball. So come with it, cause I done seen some people's shoes already, and they ain't playing, bro.
That's what's up. Bruce Dyer told me to tell you what's happening, man.
Bruce,
Uh,
what's up, my man?
and
back
I seen my
day,
man
man. Stepping
Samsonite
up
on
at
the
the other
line
place.
earlier, man. We got a bunch of folks, man. They all in, man. They look like you're gonna. I already know your event is gonna be fantastic because you know you. Oh, while I'm on this, you seem to have an amazing following for the first weekend in Atlanta. What is it? First, what is it? First what?
That's the third weekend.
Third weekend. Okay. You seem to pack out the spot, man, when you do your thing.
Oh, so yeah, you know we normally do a brunch on third Sundays, here at Maggiano's here. So yeah, I mean we got a nice little crowd. It's building. And I'm gonna be honest, Brian. Like I believe that I have the following because, bro, I respect the people in the game that came before me. That's just me being honest. If you ask some of these old school people
that's respect, bro. Respect.
who I am, like they know, right? And I'm not saying that to be boastful. I'm saying because they know because I respect them. You see what I'm saying? Like they understand. I got the Foxettes coming down to help me with the event.
Oh,
You know
you
what I'm saying?
clowning. You clowning with it then.
They're like my mothers and my aunts, bro.
I love them. In fact, I had a chance to interview them at Steppaganza, and I am looking forward. I really hope they're going to be at the world's largest because I want to sit down and have a face to face with them, man. I'm really looking forward to that.
Man, look, you can't. I love them women. They
They
are
are
my
my
mothers and
mothers
my
and my
aunties.
yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Look, check. Let me look. Brief story, right? We was in Chicago. Um, what was that? The week before last, whatever that was. And Chicken Wing was in town, right? So we was at a backyard party, right? So when I walked in, he looked at me and was like, what are you doing here? Until he realized that just about 98% of the people there was like family to me. I'm like, I'm in between that little young, old era, but I know a lot of people and I love a lot of people
Out
out
here
here
in
in
the
this
community.
community. They've
They've
helped
helped
me
me
along the
along the
way.
way.
So
So
I want them to come and I want them to have a good time and experience, coming down to Atlanta and hanging out with me. I want to bring us all together so we can have a great time. What did I tell you, B? I said, man, I know you got your show, but for one time, just come hang out. Don't do,
That's
I tell
exactly
you what
what
I'm
I'm gonna
going to
do.
the show,
I'm just gonna come kick
but
it. I mean,
just come
we
hang out.
we definitely coming through, man. Valerie, I think Valerie gonna be ready to fight you before this is over. She just said, and who else is helping you? I already know you got a hell of a team. I already know you got a hell of an army. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you like this. Matter of fact, producer lady told me to ask you, did you hand pick your WSI people? And the reason she asked that is because our experience with your organization, and I mean, I know you personally. You know what I'm saying? And some of the other people in your group, but the fact that they all conduct themselves so personably and just how much energy and how positive they all are, man, that is phenomenal, bro. Real talk.
I appreciate that, Brian. And only what I can say about that is this, and it just goes back to again what I'm trying to do here in Atlanta.
The leader sets the pace, bro.
Man, look, the the gift. I'm just a vessel. I say this all the time. Like he gave me a gift. I had stepped away from what for a while. My best friend's like, man, they need this back out here, on the scene. They need it, right? And I have been feeling drawn back to it anyway for a while. But man, I could do this in my sleep and give this gift to people effectively. I'm not gonna stop doing it. I love it. Skating is my first love, stepping is my second. But bro, the people that I have around me, um, the ladies, man, look, we leave a party, you better be calling me telling me you made it home. They know I'll be calling them, checking on them. Like that's just what we do. That's the cloth I was cut from. You know what I'm saying? I'm
I'm
walking to
walking to
everybody's
everybody's
car.
That's right. That's right. And that's the way it
You,
should
you,
be.
man, that's the way it is.
Before I go, I got one viewer asked this last question. We're gonna field this last question and we're gonna close it out. She wanted to know in doing classes and workshops, who is the better for a lady? Is it better for her to take classes or workshops from a female instructor or a male instructor? How about a
So
competent instructor? But go ahead.
tip, typically, typically, I would tell a female to go to another female first, right? Typically. Um, and again, this is not about being boastful or anything, unless it's me or a few other individuals. I'll say like a Drew, uh, in that particular case, because the female is going to give you that touch. So like I always be like, hey, look, when you go to Chicago, holler at Sharnice, right? Or if you can get a hold of Belinda, if you can get a hold of Leanna, if you can go, when you see Desi out, grab her. You know what I'm saying? But typically I would say, get that because you want that female touch. But there are some men that can give you majority of what you need, and then you can then go to the lady to polish it off. But that's this is not a lot of that, right? So you just gotta again, you gotta do your research. You gotta see what type of dancing that you want to do, and then filter out to those people that you want to give you that knowledge. But yeah, um, that would be my answer to that.
Well, I think that's thorough. Okay, so Reese, listen, man. Um, much respect to you, brother. I uh, I admire what you're doing over there because I see you and you're effective. And in my mind, that goes a awfully long way in this community because we, like you said at the very beginning, there's so much just drama and nonsense and chaos and confusion that's involved. I'm sorry. Producer lady say you need to finish out your weekend. What's Sunday, bro?
Okay, so
Before
let's
we
finish up.
go, she
Hey,
look,
hey,
she excited, Jack. She wants you to tell
I,
everything.
I,
Go.
I feel you. I appreciate that. I
Yeah,
appreciate that,
that's why
producer
she
lady.
here, bro. Yeah, I need.
So, so, so the Saturday again, that's the sneaker ball on Saturday night. Sunday, that's the Forget Me Not day party. Forget Me Not. I don't want a farewell party. I want a Forget Me Not party. So we're gonna have something special there so that you have that in mind so that next year you come follow right on back up with us because we're gonna be doing some more things. And that's Sunday. That's gonna be the 12 to 5. Once you're for those who may be leaving and for those who are staying for Sunday night, which is our faded skate jam with Tim Jones, Patrick Turner, my son, DJ Killer
Uh,
B,
and,
myself.
and
That's
speaking of
Sunday
which,
night,
Tim
8
Jones
8.
is actually Tim Jones is on here. Uh, that's my guy. You know, Tim Jones is the one who provided me with the opening music for my show here.
That's
Uh,
right.
Shouts out and mad props to that brother. Skate his
That's
ass
my
off too.
man.
And y'all know now you got me where I got to pack my skates, man, on the plane.
And
Doggone it.
Gates, 8 to
I got to
12,
I got to bring
Sparkle
it, baby.
Smyrna.
Yes, that's my spot. Sparkles and Smyrna, Jack. You know, I lived in
That, that,
Marietta, so you know
that's
my
where we
joint.
going, bro. That's
What's up?
Sunday night.
I ain't been on that
That's
floor in a
Sunday
minute.
night. So if you stand here with us to Monday, bring your skates. So ladies, take some of them shoes out of the bag and put the skates in there. So last thing,
That's
So
hilarious.
the weekend, the weekend package is 125 for the all access, right? 125. That's for Friday night, Saturday day parties, both. It don't matter. Saturday night party, Sunday forgive me not party. The only thing that is not included is the workshops and the Sunday skate. That's the only thing that's not included in the pricing, right? If you want a special swag bag, express entry, reserved seating, hospitality suite access, then boost your little upgrade like they do when you do your flights. Upgrade to VIP status for 150, and you can get your swag bag with your little goodies in it and VIP access for the whole weekend. You can do that. So that's 125 for standard all access, upgraded to VIP for 150. That's the weekend
That's what's
package.
up, man. That's what's up. Somebody want to know what time is skating on Sunday?
Skating on Sunday will be 8 to 1 pretty much.
And I know she asking that. Look, that was producer lady. I know she asking that because she want to know what time to book these flights.
Right, right. But skating and stepping. So just so you know, even though we're skating, we have a whole dance floor at Sparkles.
Oh,
I
you are
don't
gonna
know
have a
if you,
dance floor in there. That's what's up. Cause we used to
yeah,
do
I
it.
don't know
Look,
if
we used
you
to take them
remember,
skates
man,
off and
but
kick it off.
behind the DJ booth to the right corner is the dance floor. It just never had lights on, and people never really
Oh,
go
you
over
never
there,
knew
so
that?
you
I
almost
never knew
don't
that.
know it's there.
Me and Helen and a couple of us, man, we used to get it in on the carpet right there by the floor. Don't play no games. My girl Helen's gone over there.
Helen.
Yes,
She
sir.
gonna dance wherever
That's
the
my
hell
look.
she at. She gonna
Look,
dance.
that's my G from back in the day, right there. That's my folks.
Man, Helen be on it.
Yes, sir. Okay,
So
so
that
man,
wraps up the weekend.
all right. So Reese, man, listen, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for blessing our network with your knowledge and your information, brother. I'm looking forward. I'll see you next week. We gonna man, we gonna get it in. We gonna have some fun
That
next week.
is next week, ain't it?
Yes, sir. Doggone right, Jack. Look, I already got. I spent yesterday doing my little test runs with my mobile studio, so we can make sure we got everything on deck, man. So we can keep the coverage, make the coverage what it's supposed to be. Make sure we get everything. My man, Ambassador Kevin Nevels, will be my co-host at
Yes,
this
sir.
show.
Kebo.
Yes, sir. We're gonna be doing some interviews, and we're gonna be, we're gonna be kicking it, man. We're gonna get it in. We're gonna have fun with this here. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
I'm looking forward to seeing you, my brother. I ain't
My
seen you in a
man.
minute.
Yeah,
So
I think last time I seen
look
you, we was
forward to
at
seeing you.
Black and Bling, wasn't it? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Black and Bling.
Okay. So listen, man, you have a fantastic evening. Thank you so much. And man, we'll see you next week, bro.
Most definitely. Love you, my brother. Peace and love.
You too, fam. Peace. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was unique Maurice Turner. And man, I don't have nothing else to say about this show, y'all. This is one for the books. Looking forward to next week where we will all have an opportunity to partake in the world's largest steppers contest. My man Pete Frazier, Majestic Gents over there, gonna be doing the damn thing, putting on the event of the year, 31st annual, 31st annual world's largest steppers contest in Tinley Park, Illinois. That's right outside Chicago, for those of you who don't know. And yes, we will be in the building. There will be a lot going on all weekend. All of the spots are going to be crowded. Don't forget, if you're in there on a Thursday, you can hit the Grand Ballroom over there on Cottage Grove. You can go out to the Blue Note on the west side on Thursday. And then on Friday, we got the 50-yard line, of course, and the usual spots around Chicago. Of course, Friday, I believe that Andre Blackwell gives the set on Friday in Tinley Park, so they'll be dancing out there on Friday night. That's where everybody will be for the most part. So, and then on Saturday, of course, you have the world's largest steppers competition, and then on Sunday, of course, you have Heroes. So, oh, they having something at Visions? My wife, she over here naming clubs. I don't know what they got going on at Vision, so we'll find out. In the meantime, because we got one more show before we get on a plane, and that'll be on next Tuesday. So everybody get ready for that. We're going to do a pre-cap, a pre-show before we leave and get on the plane for the events of the coming week. So y'all get ready for that. Anything that we find out, any information, any knowledge that we come up with that will assist those who are coming into the city that have never been. For those who are coming into the city, to kick it, if there's anything we can provide here at Inside Steppin', we will do everything in our party to do that. We may be doing little lightweight pop-ups before Saturday. We'll see. We don't know yet. In the meantime and in between time, though, y'all, I want to say thank each and every one of y'all for coming and hanging out with your boy. I had a fantastic time today with this show. Of course, it's always great when you speak to people in this game with knowledge, which I try as hard as I can to make sure that I have people that are going to enhance your dance and not air their personal grievances and that sort of thing. We're here to benefit the community. And that's what I will always do and what I will always continue to do. And I will always tell it to you in truth, not in my truth, not in some fantasy land, but in the facts of what we know, because there's only one set of facts and we can't make those up. I didn't create them. I can only tell them to you. So don't shoot the messenger, baby. I want everybody to have yourselves a wonderful evening. Thank you so very much. We will see y'all on the flip side. Uh-oh. Deuces. We out of here.